been 4 years of being targeted for crimes I didn't commit. 4 years. 4 years of harassment. 4 years of assaults. 4 years of BS. Now, them stories that I told right at the very beginning, a lot of people wanted to pretend like I was schizophrenic, like those stories weren't true. Now I'm 4 years into it. I've posted up a lot of evidence that proves that those stories are true. I needed someone to go in with me for my own safety, because the police, especially in Boulder, Colorado, but really Colorado altogether, they are vigilantes. They don't care about breaking the law because the law is going to protect them. The judges are going to protect them. The hospitals are going to protect them. The public pretenders are going to protect them. They are not going to do their jobs. Now, there's a recording with a guy named George that I just posted up. I was abused in every single jail I was in. And that conversation with George, well, that's just one more witness. One more person to verify that I was never a drug dealer. See, here's the thing. I wasn't the one slandering Natalie's name. I told the truth. She was slandering mine by pretending I was on meth. When the police did wrong things, they used the hospitals in order to prevent me from being able to write a report against them. They spent all of their time, rather than actually investigating the crimes against me, they spent all of their time trying to discredit me, doing everything in their power to discredit me. That is all the police did. Between omitting evidence, taking part in repeated assaults, lying to me outright, destroying evidence, omitting evidence, refusing to talk to witnesses, refusing to investigate. Meanwhile, I'm having to go to the very officers who committed these crimes against me to try to get help. And you want to pretend like I'm the bad guy. Maybe you should listen to what George had to say. Meanwhile, I got assaulted yesterday. You know what I got assaulted for? You're going to love this. Amy Spencer, she's the shitty mom who dropped her kids off in Cheyenne, Wyoming with an alcoholic, knowing full well that Ryan Ingersoll, the alcoholic, could not take care of her children. Amy didn't even know I was there. But when she found out I was there, she started talking shit on me immediately to Ryan and to her kids. And who is it that kept her kids safe while I was there? Me! Me! You have no idea how many times I got between Rihanna and them kids because they were, well, going head to fucking head. Or how many times I got in between those girls trying to beat on each other, throwing stuff at each other. That fucking wooden whale, Jesus fucking Christ. If that had hit one of them in the head, it probably would have killed him. Luckily, most of the time it missed the target, bounced off something, and occasionally hit me. The problem is that Rihanna was too fucking blitzed to be an adult about the situation. She needed to stop hitting them kids. Me being called mentally ill, that makes it so that I can't turn anyone in. I will get abused. I have to have someone go in with me. Yes, I was abused as fuck by them cops from Rawlins, Wyoming. But it's perfectly legal because you don't give a shit. Yes, it's illegal. But if you don't give a shit, they get away with it. If you're not going to look at evidence, they get away with it. It's 4 years now of trying to get help. Yes, I started trying to get help well before Natalie was fucking killed. And there's plenty of evidence of it. The problem is that it doesn't fit the narrative of my predators. It doesn't fit the narrative that the Bollingers wanted to sell. It doesn't fit the narrative that the police wanted to sell. Last night I spent a lot of time on the phone. No matter what agency we call, nothing happens. It's nobody's job to investigate crimes against the disabled. Train. So, as per the instructions I'm supposed to follow, Joshua Rayborn, and mind you, in the last 3 to 4 weeks, I have saved about 70 hours of communication. 70 hours of them talking about drugs, their drug use, their meth use. About 70 hours of it. Yeah, I've been recording for a while. Well, in that, Josh gives me instructions on what to do if he's out of town. Take care of the cats, water the cats, so on and so forth. Make sure the house is safe, nobody steals anything, and in exchange, I get to use the power outlets there. He said if he's got to leave town again, those are my instructions. And I got that recorded. So Amy tells me last night, right after I get assaulted by Josh, that if I post anything up on the internet, you're gonna love this. She's gonna charge me with breaking and entering, and what's the other one? Trespassing. Well, I was following instructions. So you can't. I have evidence that I was following instructions. So you can't. The fact that you guys showed up, gacked out of your fucking minds, looking for an excuse to be hateful. Meanwhile, by your own admission, Amy, yeah, Barb got a hold of you yesterday morning to let you know. It's not like it was a big secret. So after the assault, Josh calls me up, and mind you, I didn't record them showing up and assaulting me because I saw the vehicle out there, and I opened the door to say hello, and lo and behold, Josh was already on the assault, already screaming, already coming up, already pushing and shoving and grabbing. But I didn't have my recorder on. So Amy's trying to tell me that I'm going to be charged with crimes for following instructions if I tell anyone. Holy fuck, you know what? Similar stuff happened when I was a kid. People like to touch me where they shouldn't have, and then tell me that bad things are going to happen if I tell. Bad things did happen when I told. That's what happens when your predators are in a position of authority. So I packed up my stuff as much as I could that was in the local area, and I left. Josh called me up, screaming and hooting and hollering, hating and so on and so forth. And at the end of the conversation, I was explaining to him, hey, this is what you told me to do. This is literally what you told me to do in this scenario. He was pissed off that I didn't call him. I've got proof on both my phones, and I sent that to him, by the way, yesterday, just to prove it. Hey, dude, I did try to communicate with you. I did try to let you know. I did let Barb know. Now, it's not just the evidence on here. I've also got the evidence that I recorded. Yes, I did fucking make an effort. And at the end of it, yes, he verified that, yes, I did follow his instructions. I did do as he instructed. So, if they decide that they're going to charge me with trespassing or breaking and entering, there's the fact that I have it recorded that that's not true. It is recorded and verified from Josh that that's not true. Now, when they threatened to call the cops on me, you know, the first thing I did was get a hold of Meg, my advocate. And Meg, man, she's She's frustrated too. Over 50 calls trying to get someone in person to help me. I mean, that whole time that I was up at that apartment, months and months and months of taking abuse in this fucking shithole town. Months and months and months of it. Trying to get someone here in person to help. Because nobody in this town gives a shit. They're not having to go through it. Why the hell would they? So, they're saying, well, we got to send it into the cops. I'm like, well, that's... I don't want the cops coming and harming me for defending myself. The fact is, while Josh was doing his thing, all I did was cover up. That's it. And I have to be honest with you. He didn't punch me. If he had, it would have been a different story. And yes, he shoved me pretty fucking hard. Yes, my back hurts a fucking shit ton from it. But he didn't punch me. At the same time, if you're going to do something wrong and pretend I'm the bad guy because you did something wrong, let me tell you something. When they left here, they were fucking 3 sheets to the goddamn wind. They shouldn't have even been driving. They left the doors wide open. They left their marijuana fucking dab rig on the front seat of the vehicle, right on the very edge, with the vehicle door wide fucking open. Lights are on. I mean, literally, the things that I was told to do in that scenario, I did. I did the right thing. I shouldn't have been assaulted for it. And I shouldn't have been threatened with them lying about me if I tell the truth. Now, how many times has this happened? I'm going to tell the truth about you. That's plain and fucking simple. See, just because you guys don't want to believe anything that doesn't fit your narrative doesn't mean that it isn't true. 4 years of abuse by police officers. 4 years of abuse by people who claimed that they were my friends. 4 years of people abusing people around me, and I can't do a goddamn thing about it because you call me mentally ill. But you know what? It's been like that my whole life. My abuse started in the system in 1984. Sorry? That's not true. My first foster home was great. It would have been 1986 where the severe abuse actually started. I'm not a bad person for speaking up. After Josh and Amy pulled the shit that they did, stole all my stuff and sold it for fucking meth, yeah, I don't fucking trust them. You goddamn right I recorded everything. Everything. Well, starting when I got that decent recording device from Danny. Daniel, thank you very much for that recording device. If I had had that before Natalie was killed, I could have used it to record the assaults against me. Of course, some of those people came up screaming and hooting and hollering and yelling before they ever did anything. So I could have turned on the little recording device then. Of course, I didn't have one. This is too much for one person to do. I am overwhelmed. Just because I am overwhelmed does not mean that it's okay to abuse me. Just because I can't defend myself, you think it's okay? I can't physically defend myself against Josh. I mean, it's not just the fact that he's, pretty fucking ripped. It's also the fact that I have physical disabilities. Physical disabilities that prevent me from being able to defend myself. I just have to take it. Now, if it got to the point where he was swinging at me a lot, yeah, I would try to grab a hold of something that's removable. I can't afford to fight nicely, and I don't want to fight. That's the thing from the very fucking beginning. I never wanted this fight. It wasn't my choice. Law enforcement doesn't care about the law. They forced me to break the law to defend myself on multiple occasions. Now, last night, they're trying to, my advocate and this lady from APS, Adult Protective Services, same thing as always. Oh, we can't. She tells me her job description. I say, hey, I'm dealing with those things that you're supposed to take care of. Oh, no, all we help with is getting people into housing. When a disabled person is being abused and their disability prevents them from being able to show you unless you are in person, then you are taking advantage of my disabilities by not helping me get someone in person. If somebody has a wheelchair and they need a wheelchair to get up into the courtroom, then they are not responsible if they're not in court. They can't do it. They are not capable of achieving such a thing. Now, you guys pretending that my disabilities don't exist so that you can pretend that I'm not trying, fuck you. Every single one of these people who pretended they were going to help, every one of them skipped that part of it. Oh, Sean, you have to do it. You have to do it. I am not allowed. The reason that I ask people to go in with me when I have to talk to the cops is because the cops in this town took part in the abuse, took part in abusing the system to cover for their own crimes, just like Boulder did, just like Amanda Jonas did, just like Burke did. I tried doing all of this the legal way, and I got blown off. And then they say, oh, Sean, you never tried. Bull fucking shit. I shouldn't have had to go to fucking meth dealers for help. I should have been able to go to the police for help. And the narrative that they sold the public has resulted in a lot of harm against me, but the media doesn't give a shit. Why is it that I was harmed over slander? Did I harass Natalie? Fuck yes. Now, according to the state of Colorado and what they consider assault, after I left Virginia, I didn't get a hold of Natalie until well after the first assault. Because although I don't consider that pushing, shoving stuff to be assault, it's because I grew up in the system. Shit, if somebody's assaulting you, they're trying to fucking kill you. It ain't the same out here. People ain't gonna fight you one-on-one. They just won't. Not unless you're half their size. And even then, they're gonna gang up on you with their buddies. A lot of these fucking meth heads, like Jackie McKenzie, you know, she was real pissed off. She's pissed off because she's loyal to Jamie. And you notice that between the conversations between James and I, Jamie and I, well, yeah, I was telling the truth about that. He does something wrong, and I'm the one who has to take the punishment. He does something wrong, I'm the one who rescues her. He does something wrong, and, well, he's worth a bucket. That's right. All comes down to sex, don't it? Me and Tabby, when we started having our problems, you know what that was over? She started dating Graham. Now, I spent a lot of money at that household. I paid rent. I cleaned up. I even helped with dinner. Not a lot. Mostly it was Tabby's oldest daughter who did the cooking. Now, there's a lot of things that those people did to help me out, but they didn't come forward about it. The worst part was Graham, though. I could have told you he was going to do his bullshit. He's a Christian. Not a very good Christian at that. A lot of people are getting into God real heavy right now. They're all using God as the same thing. It's their excuse to get away with the cruel shit that they did. Oh, but I love Jesus now, so it's okay. No, it's not. You don't get to rape people and then hide behind Jesus. You don't get to turn a blind eye to mass quantities of abuse and then hide behind the Jesus. I've gone into the police to try to have them do something about any of this. And if you notice, in the last 4 years, cops haven't done shit about any of the threats, harassment, or assaults. So last night, they're arguing with me, like, why won't you go to the police? I'm like, I'm fine with going to the police. I need someone there and present because the police in this town are my predators. However, I didn't just get evidence on the situation last night. I also got evidence up to and including the name of the minor that they were selling marijuana to. Yeah, I got that recorded. Like I said, over 70 hours. 70 hours of recording is quite a bit. And that's amazing because I didn't get that recording device until about 3 weeks ago. Yeah! George isn't the only witness from the jails of the abuse that I went through. I had people tell me while I was in the jail, dude, I have never seen them hate somebody as much as they hate you. Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. You know what that tells me? Tells me I'm on the right fucking path. You know, I tried speaking out about Clearview. Then Clearview killed 2 people, and 5 people killed themselves immediately after leaving the facility. And, well, they were just closed down permanently on the 28th. Now, you guys know, I can't go to the state of Colorado because I was assaulted at Clearview. I was assaulted and drugged, and then they start the video in the middle of the fight. Now, mind you, the first half of the fight, I'm just taking it. But they omitted evidence. Every single place that I went, they omitted evidence. And my public pretenders wouldn't do a goddamn thing to try to get that evidence. How difficult is it for Amanda Jonas, the police officer, to do her job? Well, obviously, if you listen to the stuff that Alyssa Rainwater said in our conversations, they're in direct contrast to the things that Amanda Jonas said. The police and the judges are doing everything in their power to hide their own crimes. By law, I am entitled as a disabled person to have an advocate there. When I am overwhelmed, it's a different goddamn story. When everything is fine and dandy, yeah, I can function and even hide the fact that I'm autistic and have Tourette syndrome. But under this much stress and this much abuse and this many assaults, and you even pretend like I'm schizophrenic. Meanwhile, nearly everything that you assholes have used to try to pretend I'm schizophrenic, well, I've posted up evidence that I was telling the truth. Now, if you're going to call me schizophrenic for something that's true, we got major issues, homie. I shouldn't have had to trust these people. I shouldn't have to trust people like Christine Buhit, who is a heroin addict. The woman hasn't seen her kid almost since he was born. And if you guys paid attention to this channel, I've conversed with her ex on multiple occasions about this situation. Nearly everybody that I went to see in Virginia, because it wasn't just Natalie, nearly everybody that I went to see has verified that I was going to see them on this trip. That trip to Virginia in 2016. It wasn't just Natalie. Ed Simmons, that's Christine Buhit's ex, he admitted on video on this very YouTube channel that I was also going to see him in Daytona. Or sorry, not Daytona, Dayton, Ohio. And then there's Brett Roloff. Admits that I was trying to go see him because he'd been inviting me for a while. He admitted that he was in jail when I got there. Not my fault. Also, there was a conversation that I recorded while I was in Starbucks in Cheyenne with Brett Roloff that verifies all the stuff that I was saying about him and that situation. And then there's, of course, the recordings that show the meth problem there at Brett Roloff's when I finally got there. I should be able to go to Adult Protective Services. But last night, with my advocate, Adult Protective Services is basically making excuses. They want to stuff me in a goddamn homeless shelter. Why is that always your fucking solution? I need help ending abuse. No matter where I go, it doesn't make any difference. If you're going to stuff me in a room with a bunch of fucking strangers, it's not going to go well. I am going to have sensory overload issues immediately. How about instead of abusing me for my disabilities, you try to understand them? See, if I'm afraid of being raped and you want to stuff me in a room with my rapist and expect me to be fine, no, I'm not fucking fine. I need someone to go in with me to talk to the police, to make them do their goddamn jobs. And it does need to be recorded. So somebody needs to go in with me who is not a fucking coward. Of course, the only person I know who's not a fucking coward, so far at this point, it's me. George, thanks for being honest. Ed, thanks for being honest. Brett, thanks for being honest. I can respect that.